So we are going to do a little more checking of data warehouse model. So let's do a model here. Let's do a sales analysis. And let's just create, again, these sales quantities. Fact. And let's just do the model, item ledger entry. I'm going to recreate everything from scratch. You're just watching. And I'm going to create, again, date we have to do. Okay, date. Then I did quantity. Then I'm going to select nothing else. A type, document type, let's say. I'm just select entry type, and I can do source type, transaction type. I'll just select these fields that, solution will not be lonely. And posting data, I will do. These are all preparations where, it's nothing special. And I will create a related table, 1, 2, 3. I just do this, 4, and 5. Okay. Okay. Generate, or actually, I'm just going to clean also the things from my previous step. So let's just deploy and process all. It will be no time. So these are preparations. Okay. And what in these preparations we are going to do is to check if the model is okay. So in order to check if the model is okay, then we should have the scripts that are actually in the nav dev, and they should be available in folder. I just don't know whether these are here. Project implementation files. Okay, here I should have in every project, this is not right now the case, which I'll take care about, should be this script. The script that are somewhere on our installer. I will give you the link to this here to the the chat box. So in here we are going to use these scripts here. These scripts should be in my now dev here. Actually, I should copy the whole folder. Let me just do the folder copying. Oh, actually, yeah. Just do this part here. Okay, paste. Data warehouse model. So this is what I did on this now dev, but the same thing I'm going to run it in my environment on this framework guy here. Actually, let's just remove this. Oh, because I'm too many times expecting this is now. And this is my framework. I'm just putting it in here. Diagnostic scripts, I already have it. So maybe they are not the latest one. I'm just putting it here. Diagnostic scripts or data warehouse model. This is it. And I'm going, let me see first if I have some errors here. It says the posted document dimension is not there. Let me just do real quick. I just don't want to do anything with the dimensions. And I'm just not going to do anything with dimensions. I'm not going to look into dimensions and set up. It is coming from the setup before. Let's clean this and regenerate this again, because generate, I just double sure that I don't have any global dimensions connected. Should be empty. Okay, clean, generate, and let's do the update now. Let's do all update. Okay, so let's just deploy and process again. Do I have a full update? I have. That's the point. I didn't have any data. You see, too much testing and one instance for everything. So how did I notice? When he said instance is saved, he was saying what the message is. It was 0 records because the stage was excluded from my model. Smart me. Okay, so no, I wanted to deploy and process this again. Okay, let's do deploy and process again. And let's just go into the model and clean everything that we don't need. And we don't need this. We're connecting to the database engine here. And what we are going to look into are some scripts from the framework. And whenever I'm doing something, I am using a lot of top table report to see what's going on here. So I'm just going to see what are all the tables that I have here in this framework. Okay, so I have, there are no fact. I have dimensions. I still have some error here, cannot find the stored procedure. Again, this is from the previous playing. So what I'm just going to do is exclude it from the process flow, load dim after, it's with the hierarchies, dim after, I think this is what he wants to do. What I know what I need to do is I'll reset the process flow and dim after should not have these dimensions here. It was the process flow was having information from my previous model. I should reset it or create a new instance, but since I'm, going in and out so many times, this can happen. So let me just continue and work on this. So it's a small model. Just see now. Okay, so it did load faculty. So do we have some facts here? Let's just see, because we need some facts. Okay, we have sales quantities, 300 rows. that is what we have. So let's just copy it to one Excel here, just as a background here. So, okay. I will not save the file because it'll be just real temporary storage. Now, we have these scripts, which I told you, and these scripts, if I check these scripts, I'm going to run this script first, and this script will tell me if what it says, if the number of the record for these dimensions are the same at the stage and the data warehouse. And they are, so the difference is 0. What do I mean? We know that in default layout, the leading table item is contributing all the rows, and whatever modeling we do, we should not increase the number of records in the model, because if we did it, the dimension count will explode and will not be good. It can decrease if we put a filter in the model, but should not be higher. So now this is correct situation. And if I look into the checking also the facts, okay, facts, sell to customer. Okay, so it's like, let me, this is not a custom fact. So the fact will not show, it is only for the custom solution here, this part here. This is something I'll run on my other, let's say, environment. If I run it here, these are dimensions, so I have no errors on dimensions. And let's run the same model on the data warehouse facts on the BC. This is only checking the standard part. Okay, I have something on manufacturing, which I am aware, but I don't have anything else here. So this is still myself work in progress. This is something that I'm aware of this. It should be 0. But this is everything else is 0. This is what we are publishing is 0. Now, one thing, how to do something wrong and how to, look this. So in my model, this is fine. But let's say I'm doing an error here. So I'm doing an error. I have an item table, and let's say item is having, an item A. And then there is a variant. Let's say this is a shoe, which is the variant is, let's say, small or small and big, right? So if I would say for item A that is or let's say a bike, small and big, there are 2 variances of the bike. Or if this is, let's say, shirt, like item is a shirt, so this is the ultimate item that I will have. And the variant is big and small, that's very common. So the combination I would have is shirt, and then once would be small and once would be big. Which means if I would extend the item dimension with the variant, suddenly the count 1 would become 1 and 1, 2. What is wrong with this approach? Wrong it is that I cannot extend the item dimension with the small and big, but I should create dimension item variant where I would have this new stuff as a different dimension, right? Not as extending the existing one. Let's see if we do this wrong. So from logical perspective, regardless which software you're using, you should not expand it beyond the primary key if this is what you are doing. In dimension, you are doing something wrong for dimension. So let's say item dimension, and then I'm expanding, I said, show me related tables, and do I have item variant? I just look into the variant, item variant. And I'm adding to the model. It is connected. It says item to item. But each item with a variant, in my demo, I don't know whether I have it or not. We'll see. It will extend me the numbers here. So regardless what I'll do from here on, let's say I could take, let's say in the variant, let me just take a variant name, description, variant code. So I would make so that this is item number, and this is variant code and variant description. I'm doing wrong because I will expand the numbers of the records here, and let's say generate and update. So if in my model I have more than one, then, okay, unfortunately I probably don't have, then the number of rows, which I'm still having 147 the stage, then this would expand. I cannot know for how much, depending on how many items have one or more dimensions, variants, and this would be a problem here. So in my case, I didn't do this. So if I would go to my model, I would look into this database, and if I would do the changes in my database, then I would do this wrong. So let me just, first question, do you understand what I'm trying to show? I'm trying to make a mistake in the model so that the model will expand beyond the reasonable scope by adding this. Same is with the unit of measure. Okay, let's do it the same here. And I'm just saying unit of measure, okay? So if I can, do I have this unit of measure connected? So I'm connecting it to an item. Item can be in multiple units of measures. So let me just give you the code here will be unit of measure, base, it's actually base unit of measure. Okay, because I'm saying base unit of measure, then this is fine. This is not going to be a problem. But if I'm just doing many to one, base unit of measure is fine because this is uniquely defined. But here, item to item, I can have many. So let me just do this part here. Next, 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 and update. I didn't have any other again. It just updated. It didn't add me more. So I'm trying to, okay, what I will do now is I'll do really stupid thing. So I'll connect it to the transactional table. So I'll just transact it to item ledger entry. Now I'm adding into the item many, item to item, which I'm sure is definitely super wrong. And let's just say update, save and update now. Let's see now. Oh, I don't know why this is going into 0. Let me just see the model here. If I have everything in the stage, I should have it. Okay, so let's see what we have in the stage. I have item ledger entry. I have. So dimension item is 145. And if I'm looking into dimensions in here, item has 100. Now this is 150 rows, but the first row is NA. So, and the facts, let's just see the facts. This is it. So let me just try to do these things wrong. Try to see what I have in the view. Let me just first deploy and process the solution in full. Because this is things I do. I want to make an error so that you are aware of it. And just it for dimension variant and unit of measure could be uniquely defined. That's fine, but this one should expand. If I have multiple items, I should have multiple of this. So let's just go into directly item view, like here. Okay. Okay, so if I'm just saying select from item, and if I just forget these columns here, just for right now, and just looking into select from here, I don't get anything. So stage item is empty, that's the point. So it is processing now, I guess. Okay, what about now? Yeah, now I have it. So I have 149 items, which is great. And then when I'm adding connection to the tables, which are wrongly, these two are correctly connected. So I'm not expecting any problems here, 149. But if I get another thing here, $329. Why? Because there are more than one ledger entries to the item, and now the item dimension will show me repeated values here. If I'm looking into the select star from dim item, Now my item 80,000 is expanded 4 times. Why? Because I'm pretty sure it has 4 item ledger entries. And that's the reason why this is expanding 4 times. This is expanding twice. This is expanding twice. This is expanding 3 times differently. Differently. Some depending on the transactions that you have, that many times the things will expand. As this is a demo data, you can see here, this one is expanded more, right? So you cannot know when you do something wrong. Did you expand it by, duplicate 3 times, 4 times when you are hooking these things, depending on the relationship. And now if I go into the check, you see, this is what it shows me. Probably before, when I was updating, the timestamp didn't reset, so that's why I did the deploy. And now I can see that I did an error in the model and I have a difference. I should have a look into what did I do lately. So this is the way how you are going to check if you did something in the model and you're not sure, or you want to check yourself if relationships were fine. If in this model, you can check it just by this. It's very valuable because you may have, for the standard dimensions, if you are doing on a standard dimension, this will pick up. So these are 22 dimensions. If you're doing your own dimension, then it will not show because this is a hard-coded script where it's checking the row numbers in the staging area with the name currency and with the dimensional data warehouse area in a dimension stage. You can see here in a schema stage and schema dim. So this is something that over time, it's SQL. I'm just displaying it how it works. But for you as a consultant, these 3 things you will run, AX or NAV, both. So check for data warehouse in dimension area, check for data dimension, the facts in the other script for the fact. So it's not this one, the other one that we have it for the fact, data warehouse dimension, data warehouse fact. This is on a standard part. And the third one is actually not a script, but it's actually our help with the tabular editor. This is if you did an error in tabular editor, then this will show you an error here. See? No errors here. If you look into this again on another model, so do this all the time. Do these checks all the time. Whenever you're doing some modeling, you can easily, do it. I mean, Surab, you have been doing probably some modeling in your experience. You can easily do more than covering primary key, but you may not be aware and the condition is not there. Did you experience sometimes that you expanded the model or a user expanded the model and suddenly the numbers went wild?
Yeah, I mean, it happened. When you do a wrong join.
Join, this is exactly wrong join, yes.
And the model just goes on and just doesn't just proceed, and then you know that something is wrong. It happens most of the time.
Because you see now when I have that many items, what is even worse is, let's say here, because if it's a custom table, let's just do, we have select star from fact, actually not select star, we have select count from fact item sales quantities, just select star, 2000 rows. It came 2000 rows from our Excel guy was having in quantities 333. So this is correct. And if we run number of top table again here, before 303, you see 2000. You may not notice it. A user will notice. because it just expanded, and you see the code in the fact is fine. We didn't touch it. Yeah, you didn't touch it, but you changed the left outer join wrongly connecting dimension like we did. So dimension expanded from 140 to 300 plus, and this is affecting the quantities in the fact. So believe me, you know, what we had the last experience was one customer was, we were doing modeling in an area which was not our consultant's expertise, and it was the customer saying, this is the right condition, just add this and link it and, you know, run it. Because it was a larger database and it was the end of the day, it was something they'll say, okay, we'll look into this after. Deploy process and, you know, forget. So the next day, processing stalled because the solution was out of space, disk space, and it should not be. Our consultant said, yes, you have to add more space. And he didn't believe or check that this is true enough space, not enough space. So customer was rushing and buying a new disk space. And they installed it. And then I found out that they installed it. It was actually internet, so it was on the net. It was fast. They didn't go to the shop. In the internet, it's probably 1 minute or maybe 5. And then I said, no, you cannot come from a staging part in gigabytes to fill in the disk that is terabyte. You cannot grow that fast. Something is wrong in the model. And I said, did you work on something? And they said, yes, we added something, but the guy said, the customer said, this is the right relationship. And I said, that is the error. And we just deleted that last change, and it went down to, I don't know, 50 or 100 times. So if at that time we didn't have this tool, this small script to check it, so at that time it was a problem. And now that's why we created this here.